Nearly 1,000 people were fatally shot by police officers in America in 2015, according to the Washington Post. Cases in Ferguson, Missouri, New York City, Chicago, and many other locations are related incidents on how authority in the United States rely too much on the weapon called a gun, abuse their power, and don't quite understand the people within different communities.
The department I came from, which was the police department in Richmond, Virginia, where we had over 130 homicides a year, where I could be on and I can hear shots being fired, and then they're calling me, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work this one, and I'll be at the next one. And one of the things I think that's very important to remember, what President Obama said, we should never get in a state where we're just calm about this. I think after Sandy Hook, no one's saying that we should manipulate the emotions of our community about the way we do our gun laws, but we don't need to be at a state where we're saying, oh, it's another tragic event with a gun. I mean, we should be outraged about the things that are occurring.
The number of civilian-owned guns around the world is estimated 650 million, and 270 million of those guns belong to the people of the United States. America has the highest gun ownership in the world. The United States is the fifth in the world for the number of homicides by guns, though Japan has one of the strictest gun laws in the world and also has one of the lowest murder rates. Switzerland ranks high in gun ownership, but low in violent crime.
I think when it comes to crime violence, to reduce that, it's really going to have to start with the parents. Okay, and the reason I say that is one thing, I've been on force almost 28 years now, that I see different is the way that our young people are raised now. A lot of our young people now, they don't respect authority point blank, not just the police. So in order to reduce that, we're gonna have to get the community to understand that, they always say it take a village to raise a child. We're gonna have to go back to that as well.
In an interview with Bill Bell, the mayor of Durham, North Carolina, it was stated that violent crimes per 100,000 people in Durham, North Carolina has decreased from 2001 to 2013. There has been an increase in violent crimes per 100,000 persons in 2013 and 2014. For those of you who don't know, violent crimes consist of rapes, robberies, aggravated assaults, and homicides. Rapes and homicides are the smallest part of the violent crimes.
I think there's a perception, not just for Durham, just for policing as a whole. When we start, I think a lot of people, I'm almost 50, and when we start talking about police violence, some of us roll back to Rodney King. And that's probably the first form of the videotape in the early 1990s, I think it was 1991, where we're looking back and wondering what in the world. I had just became a police hired in 1990, and I was looking and wondering what in the world. But we're always taught, law enforcement, you have to wait till you get all the information because people can do an angle. But I'm looking and I see somebody's hand going up, and I'm like, my goodness, an 8-mile police chase, emotions are high. But the thing about that is the perception of the whole country about police and their relationships with the community and whether or not there was a disconnect. And that was in the early 1990s. And we're still dealing with some of those challenges. But what came from that is how police do police pursuits. What type of training you give your officers, whereas bias police training, they didn't coin that term then. And looking at whether or not your police department matches the demographics that you're serving. So that, because if you're not raised with me where I come from, I can holler and scream, raise my, that doesn't mean I'm getting ready to fight. I'm just emotional, I got a point I want to put out. But if you've never been around and you respond, oh my goodness.
Over time, an overwhelming issue within authority and the community has risen. Fatal and non-fatal injuries resulting from gun violence and police brutality remain a persistent problem in the United States. Police exercise great discretion in their dealings with the public, but most research on police discretion focuses on coercive decisions. Police discretion has long focused on officers' choices about how much coercion to use. Such behaviors, however, have become central in recent discussions on the relationship between the police and the public.
We can stop police brutality or fix it.
I think that you can have better conversations and better communication within the different departments, and then you can tell them the effective ways and have classes for the effective ways to handle a suspect or a person that's not doing something right, and they don't have to go to such excessive force to help them. And overall, just stop. If you know an officer that's using excessive police brutality, then just fire them.
I think that
It happens.
Right, that happens.
Right.
And to be real, we know that there are some officers that do overreact in certain situations.
Right.
But I think some things or sometimes incidents are labeled police brutality when it's really not police brutality. And give you an example what I'm talking about. A lot of times, let's just say if I stop a car and I may have the right to make an arrest, and if a person resists, then someone may see that and say, okay, well, the officer didn't have to put their hands on the person, so they may consider that to be police brutality, where by the state of North Carolina, I may be justified in using the amount of force that I use, okay? And when we're talking about police brutality, the brutality part come in when you're using more force than necessary. When we look at the climate today, I think now what you see is anytime a police officer put their hands on someone, people saying, right. Now, if officer does use excessive force, then we do have things in place where our internal affairs division, or some may call it professional standards division, would do their investigation, and then they'll look at the policy of the police department as well as looking at state laws to see if the officer used the appropriate amount of force that he or she should have used in that particular incident. And saying all of that, I do think not that I think, there are times where officers do use more force than they should use, but if that happened in police, at least Durham Police Department, let me speak for Durham Police Department, we have things in place where we do address those kinds of issues.
Reading the police reports on violent crimes, which consist of rapes, robberies, aggravated assaults, and homicides in Durham, you will see that in most of these violent crimes, the victims and suspects tend to be mostly African American males. Many of these suspects are young African American males between the ages of 16 and 30 years of age.
Because I'm an African American male, when it comes to police, I do have a greater chance of being harmed, especially with all the events that have occurred since 2012. I can honestly say that when I was pulled over or while police were around a function I was at, I did feel threatened. When multiple cars roll up and you think, why is there a need for this many police? Even though I did some research and I found it was a protocol, it was still threatening to me. So yes, I do feel like I do feel a little more cautious when around police.
Within countries such as Canada, Britain, Ireland, Norway, Iceland, and New Zealand, officers are unarmed when they are on patrol. Police are only equipped with firearms only in special circumstances. It is stated that for countries such as Europe, rigorous education standards help to widen an officer's vision when stress narrows it, or when he or she has only seconds to consider how to confront a menacing suspect.
Big difference. If we was in a country where citizens didn't carry a weapon, yeah. But I'm gonna be honest with you, there's no way in the world I would go out as a law enforcement officer without a weapon. I think, especially today, this day and time, if you did something like that, you committed suicide. We can't even, right now, we have to change our policy where officers can't even go out without a vest on. I mean, we have to wear a vest, even me being an administrator, I still have to wear a vest because it's so dangerous. Now, I mean, you have folks now that just because you wear the uniform, they don't like you, they'll come up to you and execute you every week, which, again, the media don't put this out, but I get a police magazine, and you probably having 3 or 4 to 5 officers getting shot a week. Probably 2 or 3 getting killed a week. So, no, I don't think that practice will work for us in the United States.
Law enforcement, including police, are not always right, but that doesn't mean we don't need to help them solve what is a community issue, as well as admonish them when they are not correct on performing their responsibilities correctly.
Mindset changed a lot over the years.
My what?
Your mindset.
A whole lot. A whole lot. My younger years here, you get the young cop, when I was young one time, You're real active. You're a go-getter. You look for everything, whatever. But now I learned, you know, I'm a supervisor now. I'm a watch commander. That, you know, I learned that relax. Just be visible. I mean, if a crime presents itself, deal with it. And that's what happens. Or I have guys on my squad that I give briefing and debriefing. Brief, you tell them what they need to do. And throughout the day, they do it.
The social construction of reality by Berger and Luckman has formed the hegemony of the gun, being a necessity to stop crime, use as self-defense, and use as a leisure as well. The reality that the police officer must have a gun around his or her waist to use at any given time has become the norm of today's society. Capitalism also plays a role into the structure of police brutality and the misuse of the gun. Having the power to control a situation because of the possession of the firearm is a reason that the gun has become such a dangerous thing. We as a community need to find a way to get these young people on a straight path, to get them away from getting in trouble. Granted, it is a very small percentage of African American males who are caught up in this cycle of violent crime, but it is a percentage that is too much, and the goal should be 0%. We should also be supportive of the very vast majority of African American males who are not caught up in this crime of violence and are doing well.
My suggestion to help stop or fix police brutality would have to be better repercussions. There shouldn't be a reason why so many of these officers get away scot-free over a little, you know, pop on the hand. A life is a life regardless of whose life it is. That being said, yeah, there should be stricter repercussions. I also believe personally that police shouldn't carry guns. There are different ways of handling and addressing situations, and some of the ones that they were told to use guns for is not necessary.
So the students, no matter what city you go in the United States, get to know at least the district captains, because they can either have precinct commanders, or like in Durham, we got district captains. That's only 5 people you got to get to know.
Right.
Or get to know the assistant chief.
This is the police academy, which brings regular citizens in and gives them the opportunity to be put, you know, in certain situations and learn different things that you wouldn't ordinarily be exposed to. You know, such as doing ride-alongs, meeting different units, and finding out what the functions are of those units, even going to the police firing range. But like I said, the biggest thing is putting them out in the streets and doing ride-alongs with officers and actually seeing some of these things take place on that.
That are documented. You have to make sure you have a good complaint process so that people feel comfortable in making complaints and inquiries about your processes. And you have to make sure that there's good mentoring going on. Look at your policies, making sure that the officer's practice matches the policy. And then you have to engage the community. If you don't do an actual physical survey, you need to be accessible so that if it is some challenges, then you'll know about it. Those are the things. I mean, and it sounds basic, but you know, you got to make sure you're recruiting and training, have people that match the community that you're serving, and you have to be out there. So, because I can have textbook knowledge of what may be needed, but if I'm not out there and knowing what you really truly need, so that I can have there's buy-in, we're not going to get to that point where we have it where you feel safe with the community that you're dealing with.
In conclusion, it's safe to say that the solutions that are believed to work are different depending on who you are. Law enforcement don't exactly believe that having guns are the issue, and that we need to work as a community to fix it. Some civilians say that law enforcement just shouldn't have guns. Well, one thing's for sure. It starts with us as a unit to try and figure out how we can solve all this. It's not a one-sided affair. It's going to take more than just me and you. It needs to be all of us. Only then can we move forward. But many people have different views. It's always more complicated when you're on the outside looking in.